Okay, that should be going. And it should also be capturing sound, so it should get everything. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to attempt to do, I've never tried to do something like this, kind of a live demo of how this all works. I put up this demo hit just to get 10 people to click submit so I can download the data and show you how it actually works. So I'll start at the very beginning with how do you install the command line tools and set them up so that they work with your account. So let's see.
So that prompt doesn't look normal.
Okay, yeah, this is the command prompt. So this is if you've used things like MATLAB or R or anything like that, it's kind of the same principle. You have a command line that you enter commands at, but for the operating system, this is just how you interact with the operating system instead of using like a file explorer. So I can write, if I do ls, this tells me everything in my home directory and stuff like that.
Can we pause for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Can someone turn the light off so I can see the green text? And how did you get to that prompt?
So for me, it's just called a terminal.
That's
So
just the Linux operating system.
yeah, this is just a Linux operating system basically. So if you're using Mac, you have an application called Terminal. So just look for that, and it's the same thing. It might look slightly different.
Windows, you'd be
And in Windows, it's called
like,
PowerShell,
yeah.
and I don't know if that's built in with it or if you have to download it, but somehow you have nearly the same thing. The commands are slightly different, so I think you type dir instead of ls. If I haven't used Windows in a really long time, so I'm not sure exactly, but
Some of you young people that have only used like point and click may have trouble with this, but just kind of try and absorb passively, and later on you can read
yeah,
the detail and get
and that's kind of the key thing with this. The idea with the screencast as well is that you can kind of go back and follow step by step, like exactly type the same commands, and it should work out.
Right.
Okay, so starting with MTurk. So MTurk is Amazon's online workforce. You can put up what's called a HIT, which is a human intelligence task. The terminology can be a little bit confusing because MTurk was designed for businesses to put up these little tasks like what is an image, what's in an image, things that you could do basically like CAPTCHAs, except basically using an army of people to do these little tasks en masse, but it's been used more and more by researchers as well because it's this easy subject pool that we can put up tasks for. And so a hit is a single, what for us would be like a link to a survey, so like a single survey. And then you click a link in the hit and it takes you to your Qualtrics site or your web server or whatever it is that you have set up with your experiment. And they do it and you give them some kind of completion code, and then they enter that completion code back into MTurk, and that connects, that'll allow you to connect the data to their payments and everything like that. And all of that payment stuff is handled behind the scenes by MTurk. So a hit is a single survey, and then assignment is basically one person doing that survey. So when you have a batch, the batch thing is what's confusing actually. So when you set up your survey, you have publish batch, and in the settings for this survey, I think I can show you, you say how many assignments you want in that batch, and that's basically how many people do I want to do this survey. So I said 10 people should do the survey, so 10 assignments for this hit. And then I publish a batch which publishes 10 assignments. And one of the things that's a little tricky to do with the online interface is to then add more assignments without creating an entirely new hit or publishing an entirely new batch. And the problem with publishing a new batch is that the same people can come and do it again. So one of the things that actually I had to do with the command line is to add new assignments to that. You used to be able to do this through the web interface, but now I can't figure out how to do that anymore, so it may or may not be possible, but it's very easy to do with the command line interface.
That's awesome.
Super helpful. It's really annoying to write the logic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the qualifications and everything, that can also be done automated, so I'll do that as an example as well. Okay, so yeah, that's what MTurk is. To download it, it's just a website, but then you have to actually install the command line tools to be able to interact with it using the API. An API is you probably know what an API is, but just in case, it's an application programming interface. Google Maps and all these other applications have interfaces where other people can interact with that software at kind of a low level. So like websites that have embedded Google Maps are using the Google Maps API, and we're going to use the MTurk API to use a programming language to interact with it. And you can use all different types of programming languages. I've used Perl with it, which worked fine, Python, C++, C, Java, all these different languages will work with it. But even more simple than that is to just use the command line tools, which is it's not really a language, it's just a set of tools that you can use directly from the command line. It's a restricted set, but it contains everything that I use on a regular basis. So when I first used MTurk back in 2011, I used a Perl interface. But since then, I've just used the command line tools because that does everything that I need. I'm not a business automatedly putting up tons of hits all the time, so I don't really need anything more complicated than that. Okay, so to download this, Windows download, Unix means either Mac or Linux, anything that's based in the Unix system, which is Mac and Linux. So I'll download that. It's not a normal DMG file or an exe file where it'll install it for you. We have to unzip it into a location where we have software installed. So I'll save that and go back to my command line. And whoops. I've downloaded it before, so now I've got 2 copies. So ls, this will work in Mac as well. Ls just lists files, so I'm listing anything that starts with AWS. I've got my tar file, which is like a zip container. For Windows, it's a zip file. For Mac, it's a tar. And to unzip that, it's tar just xf AWS.
All of this can just be done through our drag and drop and
yeah, I think so.
operating system. Yeah, I'm just saying that because I bet everyone's freaking out right now because we don't, like most of the
Okay.
nobody here uses programming on their
Okay.
on the interface. So, but we can just like go to the file, unzip it into the applications folder.
Probably, yeah, that seems like a reasonable place to put it. You can put it anywhere you want. You just have to set up your system to know where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what is built into Mac, so just using the tar from the command line is fail-proof. It'll definitely work on Mac as well. So now I've got this unzipped thing. I can cd, which is change directory. This is just like double-clicking on your folder to there. And what I have here is all the software, basically. So I've got, there's a samples directory, which is really helpful. It's got example programs that use all of the different commands that are built into the command line tools. If we look in bin, so change directory to the bin, this is all of the different commands that are actually available. So we have something called approve work. You use that to approve assignments. Delete hits, you can delete an entire survey. Grant bonus, that's one we're going to use. Grant qualification or assign qualification. Extend hit, those are the 3 I'll demo. And so this is just all the application files. So this is what you would see if you go into your program files and look through the innards. So we don't really need to use this directly. So I'm going to move. Sudo means do it even if I'm not a super user. So I'm going to move, whoops, mv is move. I'm going to move that whole folder to user local. And I think it's already there, so this isn't going to work. But if I do this, I enter my administrator password, and it's already there, so I can't move it. But in principle, this is exactly what you would do to install it effectively.
Or you could install it
in
your point and drag and drop thing into your own folder.
Yeah, you can also drag and drop. I
Okay.
think I don't know how it works if you're not an administrator, but in
That's
principle,
all
yeah. Yeah, okay, so now I've got it installed in user local, which is probably the same thing as applications or program files. And I can go over there to set it up. So I'm going to change directory to user local, AWS. And now I'm back in the same thing. The thing that you have to get set up here is what's called MTurk.properties. And this is a file that follows you around. Anytime you're going to interact with the command line tools, you need this file called MTurk.properties. And there's a, if I change directory to bin again, there's a template for it. So there's a file called MTurk properties, and I can open it up and show you what it looks like with any text editor. This is just a standard text editor called Emacs. So what you have to do in this file is tell it your account information so it can interact with your account specifically. So there's, it shows you how to do that right here. I've got my access key for my account and my secret key for my account. You shouldn't show this to other people. I'm going to delete this key and create a new one after this demo. But to show you how to set it up, this is what it looks like, I think, when you get it when you install it. So I just need to fill in my 2 details right here. And to get those details, we go to the website, the MTurk website. I'm going to sign into my MTurk requester account. And go to developer. So we're already at developer. It took me there. And under developer, there's a, first you have to link your AWS account with your MTurk requester account. AWS is Amazon Web Services, I think. And this is a whole big umbrella of web services that includes MTurk as one particular service. So if you don't have an AWS account, I think you have to sign up for one and then click link them. Mine are already linked, so I can't really show you how to do that. But once you have those 2 accounts linked up, I can then click here to say get my AWS access keys. So this takes me to the like big umbrella AWS thing. Sign into there.
Can I just ask, is there any limit to the number of people that could be pointing to the same account? Because, for example, we all
No.
use Winford's account.
Yeah. Okay. Continue to security credentials. Okay, so it's warning me that this is really vital data that I shouldn't be sharing around. It's the key to my entire account. So you can set up some kind of access management system. I'm in economics, we kind of work on our own, so I don't have a lab group. I just use this account myself, so I've never dealt with any of that. But I'm going to continue to my security credentials, and the information I need is under access keys. And you can have 2 access keys that are active at any given time. So for example, Winifred could have an access key, and then she could give a second access key to everyone else, and if there was any problems, just delete that one or something like that. And I've got 2 of them already, so I'm just going to delete one because when I have one already set up, since it's already set up, I can't just log in and get the data again. I have to create a new one to get a new secret key to copy into that MTurk.property files. So I'm going to create a new access key, and it just does it immediately, and those are the 2 lines that I'm going to need. I can download a key file, which saves it to my computer, or I can just copy this directly. But once I close this, I can never get it back again. I would have to create a new key, but you can do that as many times as you want.
So we'll have to manage this as a lab. I like Vera's idea. So whoever's doing it first, like Cass might be a logical person, like send around the key that the common lab will be using. And then I don't want anyone else to be messing around once we've done that. We'll have to have like collective conversations if that key is then lost and recreated. Because I don't want to be locked out of the Amazon account, which has got like thousands of dollars sitting in it. So we have to be really aware of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Right. Yeah. And right. So I would imagine that if you have the account and you're sharing the access keys with other people, they wouldn't be able to delete that key or create new ones, but
Okay. So maybe
anyone
I should
with
go
the
in
key.
for the first time and then create the key to share.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, but I might have to do it with someone because I'm not normally the primary programmer. Okay.
Okay, so now I have this key file. I can go back to my my MTurk.properties file here and copy that information in. And I don't think I copied it, but I've got another file. I can do this with the graphical thing. So if I go to downloads, I've got my key file here. If I open this with a text editor, it just shows it to me, and this is all I need. So I'm going to copy that, go back to my file here, paste it in. It's not exactly it. I need to make it look like the 2 lines above. So this should be access key. Oops. And secret key. And I'll save that. Okay.
Need the hashtag, so the hashtags actually are comments.
The hashtags are comments, yeah.
Okay.
This is basically a bash script. Actually, it may not even be a bash script, but they have the same comments. Yeah, hash keys just are comments.
So it's like in SPSS scripts where you have the star and it has the
Yeah.
command that stops it from running.
Exactly.
So you don't put in that hash key here when you're creating an active identifying command that the access key is there.
Yeah.
And they're in different colors, I believe, are they?
Yeah, exactly. So
in
all
your
the comments
file,
are
you'll
in
be able to
red.
see
Yeah.
using the-
Depending which text editor you're using, it may or may not recognize the type of code that it is and may not color it differently, but most text editors will recognize hashes as comments. Okay, so I've got my access keys copied in, and now I should be able to run commands and it'll connect to my account. So one command that you can try right off the bat, there's nothing complicated to it, is just get balance, and that just tells you what your balance is. So I'm in the folder with all of my different commands that I have access to. Get balance is right there in the middle, so I'll just try. Well, first I'll get rid of that MTurk.properties file and show you what happens if you don't have it set up properly. So if I try and run get balance.
Just set up.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah, so I just
and
moved that.
you only edit the access and secret key, because I saw there was some other code in that file, but you just leave it as a
That's
secret
what
key.
it came with, yeah. So I didn't write any of that, that's just what it came with downloaded. Yeah, I just
Just
fill
leave
in
that
those 2
like
keys, yeah. So I'm gonna run this get balance script, it's way down at the bottom there. If you're in Mac, you have to write // in order to tell it to run it. If you're in Windows, you don't.
So in Windows, you just write get balance.
Get balance. Yeah.
Okay.
When I run that, I'm going to get a bunch of errors because there was a problem reading your properties file from MTurk.properties, no such file or directory. So I'll move it back. So now I should have it set up properly, and I'll try it again, and I should have a bunch of money in here.
Now
Yes.
the push comes to shove. 2,800. Woo!
Yeah.
Nice.
Put a bunch of grant money in here already. Okay, so so this worked, so that means I've got the properties set up correctly. Now there's a couple other tricks that help. Oh, I didn't mention you have to have Python installed before all of this. So if you don't have Python installed, that's a separate thing. But yeah, install Python and then all of this will work too. You also have to have Java installed. So those 2 things, Java and Python. Then there's a couple small details that you can set up that will make it just easier to use all these things from anywhere you are in your computer instead of going into your application files every time and using it directly from there. I like to use these commands from a directory where I have my research files. So in order to be able to do that, I have to tell my computer where to find all this MTurk stuff. So to do that, if you go to your home directory, this is just your home directory. This is where all my documents are. And there's hidden files in here. I don't know how to see them in the graphical interface, but if I type ls minus a, ls minus a means show everything, including the hidden files. And the hidden files, I'll start with a dot. And the one that I'm interested in is .bashrc. What that means, bash is the name of the command line. I think this is also the command line that you use in Mac. Yeah, so you'll also have a bashrc file. If I open this up, it's going to look crazy because I've got tons and tons of settings in here for all different applications, but there's just 3 lines that are relevant, so I'll show that. The first 2 lines that are relevant are these 2 right here. So I want to set up 2 different lines, essentially, that tell my computer both where Java is installed and where MTurk is installed. And I copied my AWS folder that I downloaded to my user local folder. So this is like my applications folder. So you would have something different here, like /applications /AWS or whatever it is. Wherever you have it installed, that's what you put on this line here.
Is there a bashrc file in Windows, though? This is only for Macs, right?
There's going to be something equivalent to it, but probably not exactly the same, but I don't know what it's called. It's whatever the name of the terminal is.
I can just like decide that for me it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna, every time I do this stuff, I'm gonna go back to the directory and not really worry.
You can, yeah.
So
yeah.
that's my plan, is to tune out for the next few minutes. But for those of you running Macs, listen carefully.
You might still have to do the Java line here.
Right.
I'm not exactly sure how that works if you don't have, if your system doesn't know where Java is. But yeah.
I'll worry about that later.
These 2 little lines. Yeah, wherever you have Java installed, it's going to be called something Java, something JDK or JRE. Search your system for JVM and find something that looks like this and put that in, and that tells your computer where Java is installed. So once I have these 2 lines, what this does is tell my command line where this is, so it creates these parameters that my system uses. So I can display those parameters, echo MTurk home, and that tells me where it is. Or I can do echo. Echo just means show what the value of this variable is. And so I've got it set up properly to show where Java is as well. Okay, the third, so those are the 2 things that you have to have there. A third thing that you probably want to have there is to tell your system where to find the commands, even if you're not in that directory. So this tells the command line tools itself kind of where to find the specific shell scripts, but it doesn't tell my system overall, it just tells that application. So the variable that I need to tell my system overall is called path, and the path variable is something that you may have, it's usually set up automatically when you install something. It tells the system where to find that application later, but since we kind of installed this manually, we need to tell the path to also look here for applications. So I've got this at the end. You can see I've got all kinds of stuff added to my path variable for Stata, for Haskell, AWS, Zotero, all these different things that are added to my path. But the thing, if I'll type the exact line you need. So path : means, export. Export means set a new value for this variable. It's called path. I'm going to use the current value of the path because I don't want to overwrite anything else that I have in my path, but I'm going to add a new directory to it. Colon adds the new part, and the directory is user local AWS MTurk CLI 1.3.4 /bin. And bin is the exact directory where all those commands are. So this is that.
So how does it know? Oh, never mind. We'll just copy this scrupulously.
No, it's okay. I mean,
it does seem a little alarming. I'm imagining our clueless lab undermining the existing path command and accidentally not being able to work anymore
No, it's pretty, so it might look a little bit scary, but it's really pretty, it's hard to screw things up if you're just adding a line to this file. If you accidentally screw it up, just delete the line and it'll go back to normal. This is just, and in fact, it doesn't even affect things unless you're using that command line interface with your system.
Okay.
So if you're just using the file explorer and clicking and dragging, it's not even going to be relevant. It's not going to affect it at all. So, but yeah, so that's the exact line you have to add to your bash RC, and now it should work.
Okay.
So I'll delete that because I already have it there. So those three things. You need your MTurk command home variable, your path variable, and your Java home path variable. So I've got those set up, and now this means that I should be able to use those shell scripts from anywhere else on my computer. So I can go to, for example, this is my folder for my project with Winifred. I've got a bunch of things in here that I've previously used to grant bonuses and qualifications and things for our pilots. And even from here, I have an MTurk's property file, so that file follows me everywhere. But as long as I have that, I can use these scripts anywhere.
So when you say it follows you, do you mean you copied it?
Yeah, you have to copy it.
Okay, so you copy it into the folder that you're
Right,
in,
yeah,
the MTurk properties file.
exactly.
And do you have a template pilot bonuses, a bonus file, or did you just use their generic grant bonus file?
So they don't give you a file, but they have documentation that shows you examples of the commands.
Okay.
So I'll talk about this in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get to that in just a second.
Okay, sorry.
No problem. Okay, so even from here, I should be able to do get balance. So I'll try getbalance.sh again. Now I'm not in the specific directory, so I don't have to use that /. I still don't even fully understand when you need the /, but if it works without it, great. If not, add the /. Here it should work without it. No, okay, I made a new secret key, so I have to copy my new secret key. I'll copy my MTurk properties file that I already set up to my current directory. And now the get balance should work. Yes, great. Okay, so now we know, I use get balance just to test whether it's set up correctly, because you're not doing anything with your account. You're not actually changing anything. You're just testing it, basically. Okay, where was I? Great. Okay, so now we can actually do something with real hit data. So I'll go to my my hit that I made, which has the 10 people that just did this little test hit. I haven't downloaded this data at all, so this is exactly what you would do if you have a survey that is complete and you want to now, maybe I did, yeah, I reviewed it, but I didn't download the results. Okay, so here's my hit, my MTurk demo 1. I can click on results. And download the CSV of the results. And there's some things you can do directly with the CSV. You might have done this previously. You can use the CSV and change some columns, like give this person a qualification and then re-upload it, and it'll do that automatically. But for granting bonuses, I don't think that works. You have to actually. There might be a way to do it with a CSV upload.
As far as I know, none of us have worked with a CSV before. Everyone's just individually granted anything, right? Has anyone worked with a CSV before?
Yeah. Okay.
So just assume that we
Yeah.
don't know anything.
I think it's more difficult to deal with that, actually, or it's easier to screw up also. Okay, so I've got my batch results file is done now. Download that. Where was I? I've got too many windows open here. Okay. So I'll just go to this demo folder, copy my MTurk properties file again to here, and then I'm going to copy my, so I'll show you in the File Explorer. I've got in Downloads, I have my results. Those are my batch results. I'll copy those to this new folder of research. There. And now I'm going to do something with these results. So this is just a spreadsheet, so I can open it with Excel. And that's what it looks like. So for each assignment that someone does, I've got an ID that identifies what the hit was, what the hit type was, what the title of it was, description, keywords, reward, creation time, max assignments 10. It's got all the data from MTurk, whether or not it was already approved. I've already approved these, and so on and so forth. The part.
Is it important whether you've approved it or not?
So approving it just gives them the basic payment that you promised them, and then additional bonus payments you have to pay separately. So approving it just says, yes, go ahead and pay them that. So even if you don't do that, after a certain amount of time, the hit will expire and it will automatically approve them. So if you forget about it, it's fine. But yeah, you have to approve them at some point, but you still can pay bonuses before approving it. So it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, cool. The part that's really crucial here is worker ID and assignment ID. So the worker ID identifies the exact user that did it, and obviously we need that to pay them the bonus. And the assignment ID is the ID number for that particular survey within the hit that they did. So these two columns are what we're going to need to do anything. So there's a couple different things we can do with this hit. Extend hit, qualifications, and pay bonuses. I'll do those 3 demos. So maybe extend hit is the easiest thing to first do. To extend the hit, I'm extending the hit for everyone, so I don't need the worker ID or the assignment ID for that, but I do need the hit ID.
So that just means that you can recruit more people without having another batch, right?
Exactly, yeah. So if you have a new batch, you open it up to the same workers who have done it previously, and you usually don't want to do that. If you add assignments to an existing hit, it just allows more people to do it. You can also add time to it if you want to. If you didn't get enough people, you want to just extend the deadline, etc. So to extend the hit, I just need the hit ID. And the way you find this out is we can go to the documentation. Where is my documentation? There we are. Okay, so I've already downloaded the results. Okay, so this is the kind of the home page for all of the help files. The user guide for Amazon Mechanical Turk command line tools. This goes through literally everything. So this is, it tells you examples for running the get balance operation, running the load hits, running create qualification type. You can do everything through the command line, but a lot of this we just do through the web because it's easier. The particular example that we want, I've done that, extend hits. So here's the particular page for the extend hits command, and this tells you how to run it.
So you just got there through the help file? Yeah,
if you just, I already had this opened up, but yeah, I would just Google extend hits MTurk, and it'll find,
awesome.
Yeah, if I, yeah,
cool.
First thing. So that's the documentation page that I need. Also, you can find out sort of a summary of the command just by using this help thing. So if you say, instead of giving all the information that you need to run the command, you just say extend hits -H for help. It'll tell you exactly how you use that command. So I can show you how that works. Where did my command line go? There we are. Okay, extend hits -H.
Is it possible to scroll up so that we can see the line that you're typing? Maybe I'll just try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops, didn't do sh. Okay. So what I just typed here is extend hits.sh, so that's the script that I wanted to run. -h says tell me the help information, and it tells me what I have to give to this command to actually run it. So the first thing is minus assignments. This is the number of assignments I want to add to the hit, so if I want to let one more person do it, I would say minus assignments 1.
Dude, that's so easy.
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, you can also add time with the minus hours. So this allows me to add either assignments or hours.
But how does it know what hit that you're extending?
Exactly. So this is the success file argument. So all of these different things are optional. It says optional number of assignments, optional number of hours, but down here it's required. I have to give it a success file, and the success file identifies what the hit is. Okay. It's called a success file because it's created by another command, but that's not really important. So what the success file is, I can go back to that website that tells the information. It has a link to files used by the command line tools, so I can look up what this file is. Success file down here. So this says that a success file is a tab delimited text file that contains the hit IDs and the hit type IDs that were successfully loaded into MTurk. So we didn't load anything to MTurk, so all we really need here is the hit ID. It says the file must contain a column called hit ID. So that's really the one important thing that we need in this file. And I'm going to call it, so I'm going to make this file. I have the hit ID. I know the hit ID from the results file. I don't think you can actually get this from the website. I tried. You can? Okay.
It's the first column in the results.
Yeah, in the results file, but just like looking at the parameters for the hit, I don't know if it shows it to you, but anyway, it's in the results. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got this value. This is the hit ID value that I need. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to create a file called hitid.success. And it's a tab delimited file that has a column called hitid. So I'm just going to create that column, copy the value in here, and that's it. And that's the whole success file.
So in Windows, you use Note, don't you?
Yeah, it'll be Notepad or TextPad or whatever text editor you want. Yeah. Okay, so I've got that text file now. It shows up in my directory there with my MTurk.properties. And now I have everything. The help file says that's the only thing that's required for running this. So I should have everything that I need to actually run this. So let's try it out. Extend hits. The success file. I need that success file parameter. It says required. I have to have minus success file and then the name of the file. So hitid.success. And then I want to extend it. So I want to extend it either in time or in number of assignments. You can do either one or both. So I could do minus hours 1 to extend the deadline by 1 hour, or I could do minus assignments 1 to add one more person. I'll just add an hour because I already have a bunch of people who did it. Oops, didn't do that .sh. Come on. Oops. Lowercase s. There we go. Great. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yep, that's it. It says it started to extend the hit. It successfully did it. One was successfully extended and none failed. So you can use this command with a bunch of hits if you wanted to. Yeah,
so we'll just do the same.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, how great.
Yeah. And that's all you have to do to extend hits to add more people. So I use this a lot. It depends how you do it. So
Vera, I just want to jump in because I'm conscious of
Yep.
time. Can we do the grant
Oh
bonus
yeah,
and
sorry,
then
I'm running out of time already.
questions
Oh
at
gosh.
this time?
Okay, sure. All right, let's jump to the grant bonus. So grant bonus, and go to that help page. Here's the help page for grant bonus. With the grant bonus command, we have to give an amount that we want to pay. We have to tell it which assignment ID we're paying for, because when you grant a bonus, it has to be for a specific assignment to a specific worker. You can't just pay workers randomly. It has to be associated with a particular job that they did for you. I can use the help flag again to tell me this help stuff from the command line. I also have a parameter that allows me to give them an explanation for what the bonus is. So I use this when I have people play games with each other. They do it sequentially, and then I match them up in groups after the fact and figure out what happened in that group. So like they're playing a public goods game or something like that, or some kind of cooperative game. And I use this reason thing to explain the results of what the game was to them. So I say, you were matched up with 2 other people. They both decided to cooperate. You decided not to cooperate, and the result is that you won 30 points. 30 points translated into 30 cents in this particular task, and so I'm giving you a bonus payment of 30 cents.
So can you automate the generation of the reason?
Yes. Well, I do this in Excel. So this is where I would use that results file that I downloaded, and I just create it for each a column for each person. You can, and the other last thing that you need is the worker ID. So you need both the worker ID and the assignment ID.
So with that decimal up there, is that $10.50?
Yes.
So if you accidentally mistype that,
Yeah, be really careful. You can't take it back. Yeah, be really careful when you run this. There's a sandbox that lets you kind of test this out, but the sandbox is annoying because you have to have other people who have submitted the hit in the sandbox so that there's someone there to pay. I don't really deal with it, but it's there if you want to try and test it. But anyway, okay. So to show how this command
so if
works,
you run the command twice accidentally, then you
it'll
just
do
pay
it
twice.
Yeah, it'll pay the same person twice.
Okay. I don't want anyone using this unless they're under supervision for the next month.
Yeah.
And there's no record in the MTurk of the bonuses you paid, so
It is there. You can, you can get a record of all the bonuses you paid.
from the online.
Yeah, from online or through the command line, either way.
Yeah, we get that.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure how to get that, but I know you can.
Yeah, because that's really hard, and it doesn't even show you that like it says bonus successful, but then there's no record anywhere of who you've bonused. So it's really like
Interesting.
you have to keep a manual. Well,
I want to follow up about this, but I also want to see if we can get it. We may not be able to. Vera, does it make more sense if we can we set another time with you to do this, or do you think we can power through the grant bonus in the next 2 to 3
It'll be
minutes?
really quick. I'll just
Okay,
power
go
through it
ahead.
really fast. Okay, so try this out for just one person. Let's take this first person. Whoops. So the first person is, this was their assignment ID, and this is the worker ID. So those are the 2 things I need. Let's close that. So I'm gonna grant bonus.sh minus amount. I'm just gonna give them 1 cent. The reason is, thank you for participating in this MTurk demo, and I need the worker ID. So going back, so I now have the amount, I have the reason, I need the worker ID. So worker ID comes from that spreadsheet right here. And I need the assignment ID. The assignment ID is right here. And I think this should work. Let's try it. Yes, okay. It says granted bonus to that person.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yep.
But can you do it for
You can do it for
column
everyone.
one?
Yes, exactly. So I'll do that next. So we've already done this person. I'll delete this person now. If I want to do it for everyone, what I usually do is I create an Excel file with the workers and the assignment IDs, copy them in, and then I essentially just build the command in Excel that I can copy to the command line. So here, this is going to be grant bonus.sh minus, I'm going to give everyone the same amount, so I'll just put that in here directly. And I'm going to concatenate that with the worker ID. Oops. So far, we've got a command that has most of the command, including the worker ID. I still need the assignment ID in there, so at the end, I'll concatenate that with minus assignment. Concatenate with the assignment number.
So this concatenating is just a way of merging in Excel columns to like which I must say, I didn't even know you could use ampersand. To
Oh
show
yeah,
the
actually I
results.
just discovered that recently. It's the
Yeah.
same as this concat
Okay.
command, but you can also just do it with ampersand.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you copy it and you can copy the whole thing.
Yep, and so now I have a command created for each person.
And then how do you run them?
Right, so this is where I have to put them in a file all together, and this is called a script, a bash script. So I'm going to copy all these commands. I'll Emacs grant bonuses.sh, copy them here. Now I have a list of commands, so when I run the script, a script just goes through and runs each of the commands in order. So I've got all the commands I want to run in a list. I can run this file, and it'll go through sequentially.
And just a quick reminder, if you run it twice, you pay them
It'll pay them twice, yeah.
You've got
So
10
be
people
really
in it, so
careful.
I think you deleted the header row rather
Oh,
than
whoops.
the
Ah,
first
thank you.
person.
Did everyone notice what just almost happened?
I almost gave someone 2 cents.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my list of bonuses here that I want to pay. That's all I need. The last thing I have to do with this file, though, is I have to make it into a script that I can actually run. And to do that, I run chmod, which is modify, actually I don't remember what it stands for, change the permissions associated with this file. I'm going to change it from a regular file into a script. And to do that, I type chmod user plus x, meaning I want to give the user additional capabilities of executing the file, and give it the file name. So that's the command you type to turn it into a script that you can run.
And then if you run that,
And now I can run it, and I have to use the // and it should grant them to those other 9 people. What did I do wrong? Okay, let's stop this. Invalid parameter.
did you put the
Oh,
assignment ID as the worker
yeah,
ID?
I put the assignment as the worker ID. Thank you. So. Yeah, I switched them. Thank you. Worker ID. This should be A1. This should be B1. It's the dangers of doing live demos.
Yeah.
This is also very typical in coding, right? Like
Yeah.
you run it and you're like, oh, there's an error. What have I done wrong?
Exactly.
But at least you always know that you did something wrong.
Yeah. So I'll delete those first 9. Now this should be fine, yeah.
You got 10 there again.
Thank you. All right, that should be good to go now. It's still already executable, so try again. Yeah, there we go. Granted bonus to the first person, second person, and it'll just go through and do all of them.
Cool, man.
That is
Yeah.
so interesting and cool.
You can also do this for assigning qualifications. So if you use qualifications to mark people as having done a study, so you can exclude them from later studies. This is what I do every single time I run a study. Just so I can keep track of who's done what study. If I run a similar one or I run a different treatment of the same one, I can make sure they don't do it twice
That's awesome.
using
'Cause
qualifications.
Right now we manually screen out the worker ID. which
Oh my
is
gosh,
insanely
okay.
time consuming.
Yeah,
So I do want to hear about that. Would it be possible for us to make a separate
Sure.
time with you?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so it might be later this month, for
Sure.
example. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We'll follow up with you. But
Yeah,
everyone
sorry that
please
went over
give
time.
A round of applause. Those of you that haven't manually assigned a bonus to like 200 people may not fully understand